Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about a northern U.S. winter system. So this storm system is going to be moving through the very northern part of the U.S., including parts of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan throughout the day today, and eventually will be moving into the northeast as primarily a rainy system, but this could be the setup system to a nor'easter that we could be seeing later this week. So currently we do have some winter storm warnings in the very northern tier of the country, including Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We also have some winter weather advisories stemming all the way back into Idaho, Montana, even parts of Wyoming, as well as North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So let's take a look at the European model, and we're going to just track this system for a couple of hours here, mostly through the day on Monday. So let's just take a look here at the European model. And you can see the low pressure that we're talking about is right here in Montana. And as this storm system moves into the plains, you can see here that we are going to start to see some moisture getting pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico, and that clashes with the cold air already brought in from a previous system into the very northern tier of the U.S. This is phase 1, the very light stage that we see from the very beginnings of the storm. But as this low pressure increasingly strengthens, we could see even heavier snow amounts, especially as you get further and further east. Now, this is going to be a quick system, with most of this happening throughout Sunday, and eventually all of that snow does move into Canada, but the Northeast will still see a pretty significant impact from this, mostly in terms of rain, and the Great Lakes region will see some snow on the back end. But the most important thing about this is the cold coming in behind it. All these blue lines symbolize cold air getting drawn in from this increasingly strong storm, pulling in Arctic air from Canada into the U.S. This is our first Arctic plunge, major Arctic plunge of the year, and this could set up a nor'easter in the northeast. This is Wednesday into Thursday. So let's take a look at two things. So let's start off here with our wintry precipitation. So let's take a look at our total accumulated snowfall. This is using a 10-to-1 snow to liquid ratio. This is not using the Kuchera ratio that I usually use, since the European model does not have that. But let's just take a look here. So as the storm system starts to roll in, you can see that in the upper elevations of the Rockies, you could see areas get to a foot of snow, but most of the snowfall is going to occur in very northeast portions of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, even parts of the lower peninsula of Michigan, seeing close to a foot of snowfall. Now, the second thing I want to look at is the surface, and we're going to take a look. Let's actually take a look at first our height, wind. No, that's in the surface. Let's just find this real quick. Boom. So, as we see typically with strengthening systems, is there's a lot of wind accompanying them. Therefore, this storm, also being a strengthening system, could also have that. Now, you can see here, most of that wind is on the back side after the cold front, and this is the wind that's going to be bringing in the cold air. And you can see up to 25 knots, that's just about 30 miles per hour. And this low pressure continues, and you can see the winds over the lakes, 32, 33 knots. This is about 35 miles per hour, maybe even close to 40. Therefore, we could see plenty of lake effect snow on the back end of this. We have the cold, There's the moisture over the lakes. You have the wind bringing that moisture across the lakes and onto land. That is the perfect setup for lake effect snow. Finally, I want to look at our temperature. Now, this is 2 meters above ground level, so just about the height that your face would feel that temperature. So, as you can see, we're looking at all this very cold air in the Canadian regions of Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, and as this low pressure moves through, you can see that not only does, of course, as this moves through, we start to see that polar plunge come in. Here's the low pressure right here. This is late Sunday, but very cold amounts, very cold air. So negative temperatures in the Dakotas and Minnesota, as well as even into Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the time we get into times like Thursday, when that nor'easter may be moving through, there's plenty of cold air set up behind this storm that we're talking about to make that nor'easter possible. This is the same thing that we were talking about last year when we were talking about Winter Storm Flynn and Winter Storm Gale, which happened almost the exact same time that this is all happening. We had Winter Storm Flynn, which was the setup system. If you remember, or if you don't, that storm was a very weak system moving through the U.S., but in the Maritimes of Canada, such as New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, the storm bombed out. Therefore, which means it strengthened in a very short amount of time, which brought in the polar air, which allowed for Winter Storm Gale to dump over a foot of snow in most of the populated areas of the Northeast, and even up to 3 or 4 feet, even more. Some areas got 55 inches of snow in the areas such as upstate New York, Vermont, Pennsylvania, even parts of New Hampshire. Right in here is a band setup. But this 1-2 punch system that typically happens during this time of the year, since, of course, temperatures fluctuate so quickly, can lead to higher snow totals in areas that don't typically see snow in December. I mean, the Northeast does see snow in December, but it has become rarer and rarer as we've been moving through the 21st century, and most of the snowfall in the Northeast does happen January, February, March, typically. But because of these 1-2 punch systems, we could be seeing snow earlier than usually expected. So right now I am monitoring a potential nor'easter, and of course the European model and the GFS don't want to agree on it, but I should have a video coming out on that, a detailed video about that, maybe in the next couple of days. So make sure to look out for that and subscribe if you want to be notified. When that video drops, click the notification bell. But that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.